All right, this is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth, and today I'm here with a true legend and one of the most underrated workers of all time, and Ricky Morton. Ricky, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Another day at the office.
Right.
Can't you see? All right.
The first question I have for you is one you've probably been asked a million times, but tell us how you got into the wrestling business.
Well, a million times. Let's see. Well, today that's 1,000,001. Understand, I was raised in the wrestling business. My dad was a professional wrestler. Then he became a referee. Matter of fact, a lot of people around this area, which right now I'm telling you, we're doing this in Madison, Indiana, not far from Louisville, from Kentucky, and that's where the Jarretts, Nick Goulas, used to run years ago. My dad used to referee. A lot of people might know him, Paul Morton, Louisville Gardens, and it's like I try to tell the young guys this last night. A situation happened when it came to taking the ring down. You see, that's what I did all my life. When I started, going with my dad, about 7 years old, I'm serious. We pulled a wrestling ring every night, put it up, took it down. When I got old enough, I learned how to referee some of the matches to get me started in the business. But that's what we do. I wasn't just always Ricky Morton, the Rock and Roll Express. I had a long road to hoe to get where I got. Okay.
How did the Rock and Roll Express come about? How did you and Robert get together to be the tag team?
Well, it goes through a long process, but yeah, I know Robert for a long time. And Robert was a tag team partner with his brother, Ricky Gibson. But at the time, that's when I was wrestling in San Antonio, Texas for the Blanchards. And Robert was down in Florida. And at the time, that's when they had a wrestling out in Memphis, which came to Louisville every week. And that's when Jerry Lawler were in charge. And at the time, they had a great tag team called the Fabulous Ones, Steve Kern and Stan Lane. And at that time, that's the reason, but at the time, Jarrett and Jerry Lawler were getting in a fight. They were arguing about their territories, and they was in go opposition to each other. And and Jerry had the Fabulous Ones as his team. So Jerry Lawler come all the way to San Antonio, Texas, where I was wrestling. Told me he wanted to team Robert and I up to make a tag team, because he was going to plan on doing it. So we came back. Then we got there. You had Jimmy Hart, Ricky and Robert, R&R Express, blah, 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 Jimmy Hart. And we called it the Rock and Roll Express, in which, excuse me, guys, in which it was hard to come up with this gimmick, because people didn't understand Robert and I were country as a bowl of pinto beans. I'm not kidding you. And here we are, we're going to pull the Rock and Roll Express together. And that really what reminds me of the story, too, because when they, when Lawler did first put us as the Rock and Roll Express, they sent us somewhere, and Jerry had a limousine. A big limousine pulls up to pick Robert and I up. This is how country we are. Me and Robert getting to argue about who's going to ride in the front seat. Shit, I won. So I put the limo driver in the back, and I drove, and Robert got on that side. Shit, we drive around town. They won't know who's in the back. Well, hell, baby, we're in here. Y'all go for a ride? I said, no, we didn't know.
Right. Who were some of your favorite tag teams to work with?
Well, but you always have your favorites, but I'm going to start off with something that people don't really even understand or comprehend about our business. The Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express, you understand, that was a natural angle. Expresses versus expresses. And Jimmy Cornette, one of the best talkers in the business, everybody just loved to hate Jimmy Cornette. Hell, I hated Jimmy Cornette before I knew him. But they got along, and to me personally, I just say that those matches like that will go down in history, because we had some of the greatest tag team matches against each other, and involving the angles and stuff. And you see, and a lot of it people don't understand is See, the business has changed a lot, and I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. I'm not here to put anything down, about our business. But back then, we couldn't talk, and I say this for the young guys. Boy, you'd really fuck them up if you told them to go out and have a match and they couldn't talk to each other. You understand? But we couldn't. And we go out and do our Broadways. But I'm not trying to say, but the business was different then. And we had the thing with the Midnight Express. But don't take nothing away. I'm not taking nothing away from anybody. Ivan Koloff, Crusher, Khrushchev, the Andersons, the Four Horsemen, the Road Warriors. All these guys are great. Because back then, if you didn't know how to work, you wasn't in this business. If you didn't know how to wrestle, if you didn't, I was telling a story to somebody not long ago. Even back then, your job boys were the greatest workers in the business because they earned that spot to be a job boy. They were great workers. But, as to be the greatest tag team I ever wrestled with, I drew a lot of money. Those matches will go down in history. The Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express, with the matches with all the other tag teams, the British Bulldogs and all of them. We had wonderful matches.
Where is your and Robert Gibson's friendship at today?
Where's Robert?
Yeah, like y'all.
Man, Robert and I, longest ever in history. We've been, let me get this straight, wrestling tag team partners for 31 years. Somebody asked me the other night, so I heard you and Robert broke up. I said, hell, I know we even going together. Yeah. But, no, we, somebody asked me too, I was on the show, where's Robert at? I said, God damn, Gary, I'm with Robert more than my wife, and I hate her too. No, Robert and I, we're together. We just come in from San Francisco. We still, we get along better now than we ever did. And everybody's out there watching this right here. They'll get opportunities to come and watch Robert and I perform because we still wrestle like we did 30 years ago, dude. And that's the way we are. You pay to see us, and I try to tell that, a lot of other guys don't care, get the money and run. But if I don't care if it's 5 people or 5,000. If those 5 people paid to see me, I promise you, those 5 people are going to get their money's worth. And and Robert and I are the same way. We do the same way.
Talk about some of your favorite memories working for Crockett.
I got royally screwed. Let's see. I need to write a song here. When I bend over, please kiss me next time. No, I'm just, dude, it's memorable. See, but I'm out here on this shoot interview. It's like I'm talking, patting myself on the back, and I'm not. Robert and I were new when we came to the North Carolina, and that was in 1985. And what people don't understand, Robert and I was already partners 4 years before that, and I already been working. I wrestled this business 10 years before I come to Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. But our memories, there's nothing you can take away from the memory of our first night in. And believe it, in our business, when your first night in, you beat Ivan Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev, which is Barry Dorso, for the real NWA World Tag Team titles. Understand me, that's a big, that's a big concept of accomplishment. Well, it's easy for you to say. To win the world titles. Not to say we done it. It took a lot of hard work, And what guys don't know, when you're in a territory, everybody has to work together. It's not about, and that's really what screwed a lot of this wrestling business up. To me, I understand I'm doing this interview, and everybody out there is listening, and you're listening. Everything I'm saying right now is my opinion, in which I know your opinion's like your ass. Everybody's got one, but this is my opinion, and it breaks off into tag team wrestling. You hear a lot of people say that tag team wrestling is dead. It's not the point that tag team wrestling is dead. It's the point that nobody knows how to do it no more. I see this all the time. I watch matches, and these guys, it's that. But another thing is, the guys are on contracts now, one guy thinks the other one's going to get over better than him. So it's not even them going out there wrestling tag team. It's everybody in that ring competing against each other to see who can do the damn best instead of trying to learn how to tell a story in the ring.
How was it working with Nick Botwinkle in your time in the AWA?
Nick Botwinkle, uh, him and Bobby Heenan, matter of fact, gave me one of my first biggest breaks ever in the business. But my time at AWA, but this happened before AWA. I was, like I told you, I was in Texas working for the Blanchards. Joe Blanchard, which is Tully Blanchard's dad, that owned Southwest Championship Wrestling. And I was partners with a guy down there named Ken Lucas, which nobody out there knows Ken Lucas. And I do this a lot, especially young guys in the independent circuit. You know, so I'll be talking to them, and I ask them just right out the blue, who's so and so. And if independent boys out there are listening, please go back and please do your history of professional wrestling. It's not all about what John Cena or CM Punk or somebody did on Monday Night Raw. That's not what our business is about. I'm fixing to get back to Nick Botwinkle, but and you know, it's like I try to tell these young guys. See, they watch the Monday Night Raw, but have you ever been to a WWE house show where there's no TV? And Elvis says, no. I said, it's a whole different fucking ball game. I mean, they don't do that crazy shit. You know, you'd be lucky to see somebody go to one knee. You know, I mean, because that's TV. They get paid for that. I understand they're trying to sell their money to pay-per-views and do that. But no, I was working with Ken Lucas, with his tag team partners down in San Antonio, Texas, and Bobby Heenan. And that's what he was with Nick Botwinkle.
Yeah.
They come in down there, and at the time, I think Nick was working with Scott Casey. And see if anybody else is out there, you don't know who Scott Casey is, do your damn homework. He was, you know, the cowboy guy out there, good looking guy, great worker, man, and right there in San Antonio, Texas. And he did the part, but, you know, Nick kept coming in and out, and Nick watched me wrestle. So, and Tully Blanchard, and they wanted to give me a little boost because I was a young, fiery little baby face at the time. And matter of fact, Nick chose me to work with, and boy, I went, you know, on the hour Broadways with him, and 2 out of 3 fall matches, and in Houston, Texas, and we toured around, and that's really what really first started getting me noticed by different promoters.
What were some of your greatest memories working with Flair?
Dude, where you want me to start? I was just with Flair last week out in California. Ric Flair. All right. To say, as to be in our business now, to be, let's just say to be a world champion in our business, you see, met 100 of them. Hogan, John Cena, CM Punk, the Daniel Bryan kid, blah, 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 blah. And my stories about Ric Flair. Ric Flair was the real world champion. Ric Flair wasn't a fly-by-night world champion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke. You know, because I've had my problems with Flair. Matter of fact, I've wrestled Flair more than all of them had. You know, I did 17-hour straight matches with him Monday, Tuesday. That was a long way. Ric Flair, and that's where the part I come from. A while ago, I was telling you earlier, I don't care if it's 5 people or 5,000. When Ric Flair was the world champion and you paid to see him, that's one thing. You ever watched Hogan do a match over 10 minutes? Huh?
Not many.
Hell no, you haven't. Ric Flair, he went to the ring, buddy. I don't care. I mean, if you wasn't going an hour time limit, you were going 56 minutes. Because he gave the people what they wanted to see. Greatest world champion of all times. And I'm not saying it because I know Rick. I'm not saying it because he's a friend of mine. Hulk Hogan's a friend of mine. John Cena's a friend of mine. The guys, other wrestlers, they're friends of mine that are heavyweight champion. He's the real heavyweight champion of the world.
let's talk about going to WCW, good times and the bad times, leaving.
That was a total disaster, screwed up situation at the beginning. Uh, Robert and I, NWA, and understand me, here we go again, and it's not the part about. We built NWA, buddy, to a point of no return. And Dusty Rhodes, which I love Dusty, but he broke the fucking company. So WCW bought it. When Turner bought it, all of a sudden it became a corporate business. Now here you go. You bring a guy in named Jim Herd. In our wrestling business, this had been Jim Turd. He had about as much business in that position as me flying the fucking space shuttle. Now, I mean, I'm serious. At that position, it's like right now, they call me to NASA and tell me, Ricky, we want you to fly the space shuttle next fucking week. That is what they did with Jim Herd. They put him in there. No clue. No fucking understanding. And then it's worked into the thing with somebody else come in, and then next thing you know, you got Eric Bischoff running. Like Eric. Always have. But Eric's never been in the wrestling ring. He knows nothing about our fucking business. Only and it's another one of these situations where everybody knows everything and nobody knows shit. You got to understand when you get in the ring. And then with the WCW here, we lost some scrambled eggs. And now they're signing all these big contracts. And then they had Bill Watts in charge, and I never had Bill Watts. And I love Bill Watts, but it pissed me off too because he told me, he said, Ricky, and that's when Robert got hurt. Robert got his knee tore up, and that's when they made me the York Foundation.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to know how come I was the York Foundation. I was struggling to have a job. I still had bills to pay. I didn't make all the big money like people think we did. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't. That didn't come along till later when Robert and I built all this shit for that. But WCW got there, and Bill Watts told me, he said, go take off 2 months. You still get paid. When you come back, I'm going to refurbish you a bone and get you away from this York Foundation bullshit that Dusty got you into. And I said, yeah. And that 2 months while I was gone, I come back, they fired Bill Watts. You see what I'm saying? And then they got Eric Bischoff up there. And, buddy, I wasn't in the clique.
Yeah. Right.
If you're not in the clique, you were fucked. So I wasn't in the clique. And, you know, and this came to that, and Robert was hurt. He came back, and me and Robert had a couple of matches, and we left and went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. You know, and I don't know, after that, WC, they really, bankrupt the damn business. That was so loyal, and I loved so much. Go ahead, man.
All right, let's talk Kevin Nash and how the whole heat between you and him started and where it is today.
With Kevin Nash, have you seen that interview?
Yeah.
Most talked about interview in the world. Well, let me see where I can start at here. In our business, and understand me, if you just give somebody a little bit of doubt, just a little bit of doubt, even as myself, and I can say some of the guys in our business do real good, because even here I am, been in this business, I know everything in this business to work, and then you watch TV and you think, what if that's real? But you see it's not. Mm-hmm. But you still got your wrestling fans. I'm sitting there and a lot of things happening, and I took advantage of a situation that happened because this is all I know. Mm-hmm. And we're going back to Kevin Nash here, don't get me wrong, but this business is all I know. If Impact Wrestling, I can't save the business, you understand me?
Yes, sir.
I don't have the answers to everything in the world. But I promise you, I can go to Impact Wrestling tomorrow and I have to fire everybody there, though, because it's the same thing. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And in 2 weeks, I can have their ratings doubled. Because I know what our business is about. And it's not about me wrestling. I'm an old man. I don't want to wrestle no more. I want to show them what to do. I still wrestle because it's the only thing I know and I do good at it. And if I'm not good at it, I wouldn't wrestle. I still entertain and I love it. And it's not about me. Business will never be about me no more. But I understand. But I took a situation. I knew what was going to happen in the future. Here's Kevin Nash. He's making all this money, but buddy, when you get older, there's nothing left for you. Where's Kevin Nash at now? You see him in it? What is it? Some of these B movies? Is that boy? That's a real fun in life, isn't it? But I cut a shoot interview on it. Shoot interview about really what happened in our business. Seeing that right there come off to just that little bit of doubt. Okay, that little bit of doubt. If you're one of the boys and you're smart to our business and you understand our business, after I told him I called him a cocksucker, a dick licker, couldn't draw flies, and a shit factory, could not do everything. But if you're one of the boys and you really know our business, and I know each and every of you watch something on WWE, and you go, I wonder if that's real. But it's not. Okay? If you're one of the boys, you knew. Coach Robert asked me as soon as I cut that interview, Coach, why in the hell did you cut that interview on Kevin Nash like that for? I said, because one day he's going to get bored and he's going to bite on it. I'm on the independent circuit. Okay, he's going to bite on it. 10 years later, he did bite on it. Robert's pissed off because he's not involved in the angle. Do you understand what I'm saying? I had to bring him in to do something later. But we worked this and we went back to it. Dude, me and Kevin drew the biggest independent house ever in this business. I mean, hell, we sold out the biggest coliseum in the world. Me and him made a lot of money together. They even had it on pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view was better than TNA's pay-per-view ever been. And this is an independent pay-per-view. But see, it's not about me and it's not about Kevin. We gave the people something they wanted to see. And that's just what it's about. Personally, I love Kevin. Personally, Kevin's an educated son of a bitch. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Dude, he was one of the biggest stars at the University of Tennessee on the basketball team. Hell, I used to go watch Kevin play way before, at the arena there, in Tennessee. He's an educated man. Real smart. He knew. And in real life, what can I do with Kevin? You guys ever met Kevin Nash? What is he? 12'10"? This motherfucker's a big fucker. You shoot him, you piss him off. In real life, he'll rip you apart like a fucking rag doll. Fold you like a piece of paper. But understand me, we were business. And we sold out, dude. That's what our business is about, and that's what people have forgot about. Okay, go ahead, man. I'm on a roll.
Now, you had a brief stint in WWF, WWE.
Yeah, yes. That was, got you. Go ahead and finish the question.
How was it like when you went up there?
Well, this is another thing, getting back to our business and it being about the boys. Our run had come to an end. See, we wasn't the guys that made all this big money. We wasn't the guys that did all this stuff. Jimmy Cornette had a spot in WWE. Jimmy Cornette brought us in. He got Vincent to bring us in. And it wasn't because we were the Rock and Roll Express. And answer this question, what did he bring us in for? No, to get us a paycheck every week. Okay, Jimmy that was Cornette, what that was about. Okay. It didn't matter if I was lost in the shuffle. It didn't matter if I was wrestling the other Midnight Express, and it didn't matter if I wasn't even on TV or winning. What mattered was I got a paycheck every week. That's what Jimmy Cornette did for us, and understand me, that was a great compliment. People said, man, no, I'm lost in the shuffle. I knew that. But I signed a piece of paper, not a contract to make with it, but I got a paycheck every week. Every week I got a paycheck. That was from Jimmy Cornette. Did that for us because he knew we didn't have the big contracts. Jimmy had one because he was there for Vince for a long time. But he took care of me and Robert. He brought us in and got us a paycheck every week. I love you for that, Jimmy Cornette.
How was Vince when you were up there? Is he like?
How was Vince? Well, Vince, everybody can have your own opinion about Vince, but you got to understand when you own multi-million-dollar business. It was all right, but if you got Vince away, I mean, when Vince is around the wrestling, buddy, you know, he's the boss man, and it takes a lot to run that company. Uh, I don't know. I mean, he's always, you know, I treat people in life the way they treat me, but it's according on what situation is. I mean, if he's going off at the wrestling matches about something, you know, I'm not there, I'm not around because that's his business. You know, and I told you that, you know, if you're nice to me, I'm nice back to you. If you treat me like an asshole, I'm going to treat you like an asshole back. But it wasn't about that. I remember we got to drinking one time and we was at a bar, you know, Vince was cool. We sat there drinking, having a good time. And he told me, he said, man, I think I relate to my fans. I mean, my people. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, I relate to them. I said, you relate to them? I said, really? Well, I looked at him, I said, how much a loaf of bread cost? He looked at me like, what? I said, how much a loaf of bread cost? How much a gallon of gas? I said, when's the last time you had your ass a bologna sandwich? He's still looking at me. And when it topped it off, I said, when's the last time you took your best friend, or maybe your brother, to the methadone clinic? And he looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, see, you don't relate to nothing. Shut up.
Yeah.
You don't relate to your fans. Go ahead.
Who's been the stiffest guy you worked with in the ring?
The stiffest. Buddy, you know, I'm on the independent circuit. And, and not being bad, just being truthful. Shit, every night's a blind date. Never know what I'm going to get. I tried to, but you know, and I got smart. But a lot of guys now, I've been around so long, they know that, you know, I'm an older guy. Just don't do nothing to hurt me. But I worked with a lot of stiff guys in this business, especially when they were green, like Dr. Des Steve Williams. Uh, One of the stiffest I ever worked with was when he was green. Was I'm on there. Uh, Nikita Koloff. Oh God, sorry, but he's like working with that ring post over his son. But it wasn't a part of it because he didn't know. And they put him into a position. But understand that after he worked with Robert, it's like Dr. Des Steve Williams. We taught him because I worked with him so many times. We taught him in the ring. Uh, you know, people used to say that the Road Warriors were stiff. But see, it wasn't about that. You know, when they were stiff, it's because when they was on TV and you're trying to sell tickets or unless they were working. You know, I worked with Animal and Hawk, and I didn't feel them. But you know, a lot of guys say it was stiff, but see, but that's not the point of it. Nobody intentionally in our days meant to be stiff. Oh, but I know in WWE, I mean, back when Hogan was on top, I mean, bro, if you chopped Hogan hard, you lost your spot. You know, you understand me? I mean, if you were stiff with Hogan, say Hogan was the man, he had the free ride. I mean, you chopped him real hard. Look, the next week you did a job for somebody else on TV. Hogan's working for somebody else. But it's the difference between being stiff and hurting somebody. Nowadays, you know, I mean, back then, if you were stiff, you were trying to hurt somebody. Nowadays, it's because the guys really don't know,
Yeah.
and they don't understand what our business is.
You spent some time in ECW. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts on hardcore wrestling?
on hardcore wrestling. All right, gentlemen, you're out there. Are you listening to me? It happens. Happens every day. Hello, how are you? Yeah, I'm a hardcore wrestler. Really? So, in other words, what you're trying to tell me is you can't fucking work. All right? Okay. That's what that is. To me, it is. Don't get me wrong, there's some hardcore wrestlers, that's their gimmick and they do it. But everybody can't fucking be one. You understand me? You can't have it every match. That one. And that's why, yeah, if you watch, you see all the posters on the internet, you never see Ricky Morton headliner in a hardcore match, do you? Okay. That's for other people that have made it in our business as a hardcore wrestler. And if I offended anybody, I'm sorry, but what the fuck?
What are some of your favorite memories from the Louisville Gardens and the Evansville Coliseum?
It's my life. Uh, Understand me? That's where I really. And if you go back, that's, you know, you can even say that, you know, the Louisville Gardens or Evansville. It even goes back to Memphis and everywhere else. But at that time, in those glory days, Memphis was the hottest wrestling area ever. When you wrestled Memphis every Monday night, Louisville every Tuesday night, and Evansville every Wednesday night, and they sold out every week. Not for 6 months, I'm talking about for years and years. But you look at all your top stars that come through. Randy Macho Man Savage, Jerry Lawler. Uh, Back in those days, Rocky Johnson's, they all come through here. The Bobby Eaton, Dennis Condrey, all of them. I don't know if you remember Hulk Hogan started there. He won his, hell, I forgot what they called him. I think they just called him the Hulk, I believe. Uh, that's where he started at in Memphis. Matter of fact, people don't know that. Jerry Jarrett used to send us down to Tupelo, Mississippi every Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to work out with Terry in the ring. But my favorite memories was because that was what our wrestling business is about. This is where it was on a bicycle tape. What we taped in Memphis on that Saturday did not show until a week later, and that's the reason you call it a bicycle tape.
Right.
It didn't show till a week later in Louisville. So what you did in Memphis that Monday night, you didn't do what you did in Memphis that Monday night, you didn't do in Louisville. The next day you did it the following week. And our memories there, it's where Robert and I first started together. It's where I was partners with Sonny King, Ken Lucas. When I first come into Memphis, I was partners with Bill Superstar Dundee. Watched a lot of things there, buddy. A lot of good moments and a lot of sad moments, especially in Memphis. With you guys out here know Larry Lathan, the Moondog. He died during my match with me. And see, that's the good times and that's the bad times. That didn't happen in Louisville or Evansville, but it happened in the same area. One of your best friends, and I'm sitting here talking to him like now, and we go to the ring and he dies on me. It's a really sad thing, but you have a lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories, a lot of good times.
What do you like most about working in the Indies?
It's what I do for a living. It's really about, I cannot really give you a great answer, but it's not all about, it's like tomorrow I can't go down to the hospital and be a brain surgeon. I lost my license. No, I'm a professional wrestler. This is all I've done. And see, it's the reason our business has changed so much. People like me, back then you had territories. Then when you got older in business, you went to territories and worked as bookers and, like WWE, but if you're not in that clique, you're screwed. Do you understand me? That's the reason I'm still on the independent circuit. That's the reason I'm here, and I'm not trying to impress nobody. And I try to tell the guys that I work with, but it's not only about independent. I have a wrestling school too, and a lot of guys want to come to my wrestling school, which is good. And if you're out there, if you've even been working on the independent circuit for 5 or 6 years, I could show you more. And I'm not here. I'm not the man with the hat, and I'm not the scholar. Got everything, but it's so much in our business, little things that guys don't even know about or even have a clue about that can make your match so much better. But my most important thing is teaching the guys how to make good decisions in life. And if you really knew me, you'd understand what I was talking about. Just being at the wrong place. The world's changed. Not even my business has changed so much. The world has changed so much, and I'm out there. Dude, I tell you, I'm in San Francisco one night, Texas the next night, and to look what's going on in our cities and what's going around, and just being at the wrong place at the wrong time, not only could cost you your life, but cost you everything you ever worked for, ever dreamed about. And that's not doing nothing. It's just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. But independent wrestling is what I do. I love it. I fight for independent promoters every day of my life. I stand up for them. I go to shows and I see these guys come in, they start knocking the guys in the match, and I tell them, dude, What was you always fucking great? Was a lot of these guys don't need to be in the ring. I said, yeah, but when you started in the business, did you need to be in the ring? I said, these guys has not had time to people to work with them like we did. We wrestled every night. So besides that, the one you're knocking out there is paying me tonight. This is what I do for a living. So I mean, so if you don't like it, you don't have to come back. And besides that, you're robbing half of them of the money anyway. You know, I told that guy, one promoter, one, I said, how much are you paying this guy? I said, there, I said, dude, it's not that. He's telling you he don't want to come to work for you. But if you're stupid enough to pay him that fucking money, he's going to come. Sorry if I offended anybody. I'm just telling the truth.
What's been your worst injury in your career?
Dude. What am I doing? You're damn right. You know what? Every time you get hurt, no matter what you do, you break your arm. So what is it? You twist your ankle. Oh, God, there's nothing better than that. I've been lucky. No, see right here, see the bones sticking up. My fingers and arms have been broken, but that's where our business has changed at too. You know, I got bones sticking up right here where I tore my shoulders out of place. But when we was on top, dude, we got paid by how many asses were in the seats, and the boys depended on each other. See, I could break my arm and still go out and wrestle Bobby Eaton, and then it's in an hour time limit match, and the people didn't know my arm was broke because they took care of me. That's the difference now. Now, your injuries now, they say, because these guys are on contract. I mean, if a guy messed his knee up, for instance, well, you know, now you got Vince. He's going to pay for everything. You take off a year, lay in bed, get paid for it. And in our day, you didn't have that. He got that knee hurt. You see him coming to the ring, his knee's bandaged up, walking to the ring. And we took care of him until he got better. You understand? Until he healed. That's the way we did it then. And but I've been hurt. I mean, I've been lucky. I had my shoulders hurt. I had my neck hurt. My back hurt, just like anybody else, but not broke. And now I've seen a lot of people get hurt real bad. For instance, here in the background, I tell people just don't even realize how dangerous that ring is right there. They look at, oh, that's a wrestling ring. That wrestling ring is dangerous. That's steel. That's cable. That's wood up under there. It hurts. I seen Tommy Young one time get hit and he failed. The second rope right there, his neck hit it, broke his neck. That's the reason Tommy Young quit refereeing. If y'all didn't know, anybody knew that. He just got hit, and he hit that bump. I seen guys' feet hit the bottom ropes and snap their legs and ankles right in half. You know, this is part of. I mean, they don't understand about our business in the ring. It's like when I train guys in a small ring, and the reason I train them in a small ring, it teaches them how to work in the middle of the ring. And then when you advance to a big ring, they still work in the middle and not taking bumps over here in the corner. This is, you know, it's great, but this is a great place. You know, it's different things for different people.
All right, I'm gonna ask you about some people in the business, and you just kind of give me what you think about them. All right.
Okay.
The first one is Jerry Jarrett.
Rich promoter.
What about Jeff Jarrett?
Rich son promoter.
Bill Dundee.
Superstar. Aussie. Best.
Jamie Dundee.
Crazier than a horse with no neck.
Jerry Lawler.
Best worker ever in the business.
Dutch Mantell.
I love Dutch. Superstar, icon. Okay.
Jim Cornette.
Best manager ever in our business.
Bobby Eaton.
Him and Dennis Condrey together. I mean, I'm sorry, but the best. Bobby Eaton, one of the best heels in the business.
And the last one is Tommy Rich.
A Hulk Hogan of his time.
What do you miss the most about the territories?
The boys. we'd see what's hard to understand is, when you have territories and when you went into them, it was something that was so great to go into a territory where the boys, they got their angles going, but when you come in and do an angle and then you sell out everywhere you go, you see that was my high, all right? That was my music. That was my way of doing this business. And don't get me wrong, I just didn't do it one time. Robert and I did it a million times. We'd go to Kansas City and sell it out for Bob Geigel. We'd go to Portland, Oregon, up there, and Pensacola, Florida, when the fields, then down with the Grahams. Go to Texas, and shoot little angles, boom, boom, before we really got. And that was a small territory thing. But see, you only had so many guys in there, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's when the boys depended on each other. We depended on each other to make a living. There's no aggravation. Our business is a business. There's, and you knew your spot. If you was a middle guy, you was a middle guy. You're a top guy, you're a top guy. But if you was a middle guy getting ready to be on top, the boys stood behind you to get you there. They didn't fight against you. They didn't hurt you. Okay?
Who are some guys you enjoy watching today?
You know what? What I like watching today is because it's not the part about doing moves in the ring. I mean, if you want to impress me, apple, shit, a fruit salad, that would impress me. Because, a lot of these high-flying moves that guys do today, but I see these 35 years ago. And what's so funny, I don't know if a lot of even know, I know they know Gerard Guerrero Jr., his daddy, Chavo, and Hector Guerrero, and Armando Guerrero. And the guys, this right here is 35, 40 years ago. The shit y'all see today, y'all think it's a new move. They did this shit 35, 40 years ago. I mean, when you see the Hurricane Piranhas off the top rope, hell, they did these son of bitches walking down the top rope. I mean, it's shit that people think they've seen or invented. They just went back and found an old tape and seen somebody that did that. These guys are great. And that's good. But watching, answering your question is watching, because I see people tell me this all the time. It's like they know everything about our business. I see a guy the other day that just knocked John Cena. John Cena can't work a lick. And I looked at him, I said, John Cena's the smartest motherfucker in this business. And if you can't see that, you don't fucking understand. You ever watch him go out and talk? Anybody out there, you watch him talk, watch him, he listens. Do you ever, people can boo him, but do you ever see him go back like, I mean, he's such a smart motherfucker. That's the reason he's on. That's the reason he's worth millions of dollars. That's the reason he got his own television shows. That's the reason he's got there too. It's not a part about what he can do in that ring. It's a part about what he can do all over it. Because anybody out there is listening to me now, and anybody that's in here, if you want to make it big in this business, it's not about your work. Our business is 99% talking. Talking is what catches the people's attention. Talking is what's doing it. That's the reason. Look at The Rock. And if you say Rock's a great worker, you're fucking wrong. But Rock is great. You know why? Because he can talk. That's his gimmick. That's John Cena's gimmick. They can talk. They're great.
What do you think has hurt the business the most?
Buddy, it's when we lost the territories. It's when you lost the territories. And now it is really not. Because most of the time, the average wrestling fan is only educated with WWE. Impact Wrestling, nobody even gives a shit about them. Matter of fact, I had a chance just to watch their show the other day, and I don't know what Dixie Carter is smoking or what she's doing, but hell, they're doing the same angle as WWE's doing. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I mean, see, that's what they don't know how to build their own talent. I wish they'd get me a job there. I walked the door beside because I couldn't Dixie. But hey, guys, how y'all doing? You're all fucking fired. Get the fuck out. Start all over again. Build your own talent. Get it going. And boy, I got a lot of heat off that, didn't I? But it's because everybody's educated in the same thing. And really, and on the independent circuit, Robert and I do. Don't get me wrong. No, Robert and I do good business because the reason why we do good business is I make sure when Robert and I are coming to the town to make sure that promoter, because advertising. Fuck, if Elvis was still alive and he was singing next door tonight and nobody knew it, he's gonna come. And I ain't news. I'm just saying that the people got to know you're in town. You got to hustle. I mean, dude. I mean, down south. We're down there, and don't get me wrong. We don't break war, but we draw thousands, 1,500. I mean, hell, we had 2,700 people a couple weeks ago in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Next Sunday we're in Hickory, which is me and Robert and Matt and Jeff Hardy. And they had to move the building holds 6,000 people. They had to move it to the damn baseball stadium because it's already sold out. But the reason was because they advertised. I mean, go down to that town down there. It's on the radio every 2 minutes. It's on commercials. It's during Monday Night Raw. And it's great. That's the reason. That's how you draw money. It ain't the part about our business being hurt. Everybody loves wrestling. If they know you're in town, they come and see it.
What guys in the business have the worst egos?
The worst egos?
Yeah.
That's the ones I was telling you. I already think they know everything, don't know shit. And they really get smartened up when they meet Ricky Morton. Sorry, guys, I'm not smart. This is my life. This is my business. Okay, it's... Hey, my man, don't come and tell me shit. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying the other day. If you want to impress me, eat an apple instead of fruit salad. I mean, I've seen it all. Mm-hmm. And I know. I'm 58 years old. When I get in that ring, I know what I'm going to do and I ain't going to do. So don't get me wrong, I never have this problem, not many times. I don't. I got to say one thing, being on the independent circuit, I made myself a name. Not from there, but over the years, a lot of guys still respect that. When I come here, but it's the ones that, the guys that think they know everything. And that's what really, and I never usually don't say nothing until it gets to a point, until, listen, dude, this ain't the fucking way you do it. And I say, I usually just don't do my thing, but this is what I do for a living. And the ones with the egos, they're the ones that, well, most of the time who they wrestle for? Nobody. They got that one night a year, I guess they wrestle. They probably pay the fucking promoter to wrestle. But go ahead.
For the people that don't know, tell them some of the guys that you've trained.
Well, a lot of guys I trained that people don't even know. I train them in the ring. Wrestling, they bring them into the territories because, the wrestling schools is going, Kid Cash, David Cash, Chase Owens, the junior heavyweight champion of the world, Chris Hamrick. But as you go back, into the ring-wise, that helped them get where they were going. Dr. Death Steve Williams, I don't remember, Kane in WWE, he was the Unabomber in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Hell, he wrestled me and Robert every night, Now look where he is. A lot of guys like that. A lot of them we trained in the ring. It goes on and on, but I'm not here to take credit for stuff like that right there. I'm here to know, but they know in their heart. But I got Chase, and if you guys out there on the independent circuit, have you ever used Chase? Brother, you need to bring him here. He's great, absolutely wonderful worker that knows his business. All right.
Who are some of the more underrated wrestlers in your time that you think maybe didn't get a big break?
All of them, buddy. I know. I'm not. Don't cut me off there now, Hoss. And I try to tell you this, and I make people understand. And I've told this story before. Even though you had me, Flair, Robert, the Midnight Express, the guys that were underneath, if it wasn't for them, we couldn't have been who we were. And the guys that was underneath there are the ones that got us where, and they had to know what they were doing. The George Soutons, the Joel Deatons, the downtown Denny Brown. You remember him? That was underneath, one of the best workers in this business, but that was their jobs. All the underneath guys back in, and I'm not talking about the guys that were on TBS, Atlanta TV, the ones that they squashed in 30 seconds. Them boys didn't know whether to wind their ass or scratch or watch. Them guys. I'm talking about in the territories, the underneath guys. See, if it wasn't for them, the other guys couldn't have been over. They were all underrated and all underpaid until the Rock and Roll Express come in because everybody made money then. Sorry, true fact.
You worked for Ian Rotten a few times, right?
It's been a long time ago, buddy.
How was it like working for him? Because I've heard horror stories about him, and I've heard good stories.
But I mean, you know what? I told you earlier, I treat people the way they treat me.
Right.
And my main thing is when I'm on independence that I get paid. I wasn't in the hardcore match. I'm not in hardcore matches.
Right.
It don't matter to me what he does. I don't give a damn if he eats horse shit and it's none of my business. I know Ian. I know Axel too. I know all of them. I know them through the years. You hear horror stories. But like I told you earlier, see, he's one, and I can say one thing for him, he is one of the hardcore wrestlers.
Yeah.
So it's good to have him hardcore. But every show can't be hardcore match. I mean, what you going to do in the next match? See, he's the one I was talking about earlier, that he could work. I had good matches with him. But he became a hardcore wrestler. But the other 99% of the hardcore wrestlers can't work. That's the reason they're hardcore. I never had a problem with him. He's always paid me. Never had no problem, so I can't say nothing bad about it.
When it's all over, when you're done, the wrestling career is over, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered. I believe I worked hard in this business. I get some great compliments, Matter of fact, somebody said this to me the other day. It was Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin doing an interview. And things like this right here is what really gets me because Steve Austin introduced Shawn Michaels on the show. And said Shawn Michaels, WWE champion, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and the greatest baby face ever in professional wrestling. And Shawn Michaels, he said, no, I wasn't the greatest baby face, Ricky Morton was. I was the greatest in WWE. See, that's a compliment that you'd never forget. You understand me? And I can't believe Shawn said that. He said, I wasn't the best baby face, Ricky Morton was the best baby face ever.
Do you have any last words or anything you want to say to your fans out there?
Am I dying?
No.
I mean, is my career fucking over after this interview? I'm like, fuck. No, it's just the fans, and I do this every night when I get the opportunity to. You see, without the fans, we couldn't wrestle tonight. And I encourage them, and I always tell them to come back because with their support, what keeps us going, it keeps me fed, and it keeps these guys that are wrestling here tonight. And don't get me wrong, and I hope the guys don't get pissed off at me for what I'm fixing to say. But see, to them, and that's the reason I don't bitch, because to them, that's their night. This is their Monday Night Raw. You understand me? Because they have the opportunity to get in the ring. A lot of guys get mad. God damn it, this and this, and the match went too long. Yeah, but leave them the fuck alone. They're having fun, and most of them look so forward to having their match that night. Hell, they ain't slept the night before, man. And understand they're calling other guys. I can understand why they go over their matches because they want it to be so good. And I want them guys to know that's the reason I fight for you every fucking night. That's the reason I fight for these independent promoters every night. Because that's something good. See, all of it turns out to be something good. So I want the fans to come out and see that, enjoy that. Come and see these guys. They work hard and they bust their ass. And if it's not up to your par, I'm sorry. But to me, it's up to my par because I love them. Okay?
Thanks, man.
Very, very welcome, buddy. Thank you.